There's a lot to look at in the new tax law, especially in terms of estate planning. Jim Lineweaver tackled a few topics 2 weeks ago, and he's back to take on several more. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. So welcome back.
Your voice is much better this week.
Yeah, I got rid of that cowboy in my head.
That's good. I like this. This is a good you. Let's stick with this one.
All right, thank you. So what's first on your list for this show?
Well, first it's the financial powers of attorney and how this relates to your investments, because I don't think people realize how important these documents are. And the problem is that, without a financial power of attorney, your family's going to have a lot of financial hardship in trying to access other accounts. But this is where you're going to actually appoint somebody like an agent or attorney, in fact, to actually execute things financially on your behalf. And it's extremely important.
So can you give us an idea what might happen if you don't have a power of attorney in place?
Yeah, so let's just say you're married, and let's say your significant other was the primary breadwinner in the house. And let's say they had accumulated a lot of money in 401ks and IRAs, and something happens to them. Death is actually easy, by the way. I hate to say it, but death is easy. Disability, nursing home, things along that nature, ill health is very tough to deal with, not only emotionally, but also financially. So if they have a lot of money in these IRAs or 401ks, you don't have a financial power of attorney, they're incapacitated, you can't go get the money. So you're going to have to go to the court, you're going to have to be appointed a conservator, and then they're going to have to be able to log this stuff in and make sure you're doing things properly and stuff. It's a huge headache. It's a real pain, especially when that person probably needs support emotionally as well. But it can really tie the family's hands.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing. Next is avoiding probate, which means you have to think about beneficiaries as well as agents to work when you're disabled, right?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many mistakes we've seen with people coming into our office, because there's just a very simple way. If you just list people down as a primary beneficiary, and then contingent would mean that if that primary person passes away, it's going to default to maybe the 2 or 3 people you put as contingent. But I literally had a very wealthy person come into our office. He was referred to us. And when we looked at his IRAs and we started to look at the beneficiaries and things, he actually had a limited liability company that he listed as a primary beneficiary on his IRA, which is a huge no-no, as you know, right?
Yeah, that I know. Our viewers might understand, but it was like, oh no!
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Yeah, because then they're taxed at a very high rate. It's huge complications. So immediately we got those stripped out, listed as family there and other things. So if you want to really avoid probate on IRAs, 401ks, life insurance, all those types of things, anything, annuities, wherever you can put a beneficiary, get it down and check them regularly.
Okay, and other property, is joint ownership an acceptable way too?
They could be, but also in the state of Ohio now, and a lot of things like real estate and any capital producing asset like stocks and things along that nature, you can have a transfer on death now, and it doesn't cost you anything. You can just go get it recorded down at the county or have your advisor listed as transfer on death. That way, if something happens to both you and your spouse, you pass away, it'll automatically avoid probate, go right to the beneficiaries.
Very good idea. How about a trust? When do you need one?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons for a trust, but I'll tell you why I usually recommend them is when there's touchy-feely things that you can't get done in a will that you want to pass. Like my kids are relatively young, although they're starting to get older, so they're aging, I'm not. But needless to say, I wouldn't want a good amount of money dumped on their hands at this age. It could kind of get them off their financial tract. So with a trust, I can put those touchy-feely things of, all their health, welfare, maintenance, support will be paid, but there's certain age restrictions of when they would actually get money. So they get out there, they work on their own. I can't do that in a will, but I can put all these kind of handcuffs around how people inherit money in a trust. And there's also benefits to avoiding probate. And we talked about on the show with the exemption of the 11.2 million and doubling to 22 million and things along that nature. So a lot of interesting things that could be taken care of with a trust.
And a lot of things in the new tax law we have to worry about.
Yes.
As you can tell, estate planning is essential but complicated. And it's more complicated by the new tax law. For help, give Jim a call. His number's next.
To find out more, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or log on to www.lineweaver.net.